The gods told me much tonight, but they did not seem inclined to ruin your surprise, my little star. If I had known you'd been gracing my halls tonight, I would have made myself more presentable. But you were very kind, my dear. I trust Her Highness has worn herself out at the Stellar Return Festival. I see. And you were able to partake in the festives yourself? I seem to recall you dancing quite beautifully in the village square. Now, my little star, don't shy away from me. Even knights deserve to celebrate new beginnings, do they not? And you celebrate as beautiful as the finest star shower. Of course, Her Highness has always been quite animated, has she not? I still recall how she would prance and dance around the palace when she was a child, as if all of the life of the divine twins has borrowed its way into her soul. Oh? You not know their tale? The divine twins, Admios and Reparos, representing manifestation, or wonder, and ingenuity, respectively. Their tale is truly a delightful one. Their tale is truly a delightful one. Ah, of course, the tales of the gods have long been neglected, reduced from memory to myth. If you wish to hear their tales, little star, you need only ask. Do not look so surprised, my dear. I can assure you, I have no need for riddles for these tales. If anything, the more you hear of them, the more questions I'm certain you'll have. Very well, my little star. Why not rest your head here? I believe you slept quite well the last time you were here, did you not? And which tale would you like to hear? The goddess of love's curse? Or the day the deity of justice was unjust? The beginning? How it all began, you mean? Now that is quite the tale, my little star. And a long one as well. Are you sure you would like to hear it? Very well. I would be a fool to ask a star to stray from its chosen course. After all, at least I find myself burned by its flame. Come, make yourself comfortable. Would you like some tea? I believe I have a blend of the tuna that would suit you quite nicely. Lowe's? No. Ava is the goddess of patience. She and Trina, the goddess of temperance, go hand in hand. Divine companions, you could call them. They are not one and the same, no. Patience is simply the willingness to wait, while temperance brings contentment with all that fates have provided. One may be content, but wait for nothing. One may also be patient, but remain doomed to discontent. Do you understand, little star? Good. For tea, my dear. Now that I presume we're comfortable, I believe one must begin the beginning. beginning, there was only Nox, the god of death. Verena, the goddess of truth. Nox had remained ensnared in a deep slumber. For death's primary function is to wait for life. Thus did Verena remained unchallenged and alone for many, many years. And with her existence, only one truth. There was nothing else to be found. One day, the goddess Verena found herself yearning for what she could not tell. She began to wonder if there could be more. After all, if Nox was asleep, surely it meant that something would wake him. Thus was a sparkling star, born in the distance, barely visible and often concealed. Night after night, Verena gazed upon the star, wondering what it may be. The sight of the star stirred within her a strange sensation. Could there be more than nothing? The more she looked at the star, the more it grew, until at last she heard a gentle whisper. Piraeus, the divine manifestation of hope, was born. It grew and grew, until one night, it stopped growing, and so would it remain as a silent, radiant star in the heavens for all eternity. At first, Verena was disappointed. After growing for so long, what could it possibly have brought her but more questions? She contemplated, night after night, what she could possibly do to make it grow. Until, one day, she found a woman by her side. Eva, the goddess of patience, had come into creation. And so did she join Verena in the long wait. Eva, however, was of a much brighter disposition than Verena, and so she began to tell stories. Verena despised these stories, for many of them were simply untrue. How could a goddess, truth, tolerate lies? Thus, patience and truth enter a conflict. Eva believed her stories were simply an entertaining way to pass the time, while Verena saw that only the truth ought to be told. Matter came to a head, and while Verena fashioned a spear out of hope's stardust, Eva fashioned a sword out of its radiant light. Just as their blades clashed, two sparks appeared, and so were two deities born. The divine twins, Atomos and Reparos. Yes, manifestation and ingenuity. I see my little star's been paying attention. Atomos and Reparos were a mischievous pair, but never were there two in better harmony than they were. Atomos would imagine Reparos would find a way to create for him. Soon where there once had been nothing, there were stars, and comets, planets and moons. The cosmos as we know it came to be. Verona no longer had time for idleness, and so did she busy herself with learning everything she could. With so many new truths, it seemed as though her quest of learning would never end. As she continued on in her travels, she began to record her discoveries in a cosmic tone, weaving the stars as her ink. Soon, the stars began to come together, and a pair of golden wings appeared to span the breadth of all existence. Between them hovered a round head bearing only a single eye. The goddess of wisdom, Sophia, was born. Her divine eye would guide Verona's pursuit from then on. Meanwhile, Ava began to grow restless. Constantly, she was waiting. For what? She did not know, but she was waiting. One day, her sons came to her side. They asked her why she wept, but she had no answer. All she knew was that her heart ached. Was she truly damned to wait for all eternity? Sophia heard Ava's plea, and in all her divine wisdom, saw what the cosmos lacked. Thus, with a single flap of her golden wings, she caused a gust of wind. The wind whipped and curled until it created Sophia's son, Aquilas, the god of justice. As his first command, Aquilas blessed Ava with the gift of true companionship and acceptance. He rewarded her patience with a tiny spark. If she nourished it, it would grow into a friend. Thus did Ava dedicate her existence to nurturing the spark. It grew into an ember, and from an ember into a warm heart. As it grew, it soon flourished into a gentle spirit. Trina, the goddess of temperance, was born. And so the cosmos remained for a long time. But as the gods' bond grew stronger, Grace's light grew brighter. He was pleased to see Verona's excitement as she explored the world her sons had crafted. Admios and Rapiro's cooperation to make each other's hopes a reality. Ava and Trina's unbreakable bond, and Aquilas's dedication to honoring his divine mother, Sophia. Thus, Race rewarded them with a new deity, Amarelia, a goddess of love. As she wandered among them, Amarelia honored their love for all things, for their creations, for their duty, for each other, until she stumbled upon Admios, gazing up at Paris in silence. She asked him what thoughts had taken root in his brilliant mind, and the boy spoke. For all the wonderful things he had imagined, the cosmos was silent. He wished to hear more stories, more wondrous ideas, but found only silence. Amarelia looked to Paris with all the boundless love in her heart, created for him a gift. People with hearts crafted from her warmest heart, and minds fashioned an Admios' favorite storybook. Thus, was mankind born. The boy was delighted. And with Reparos at his side, the twins began to imagine, craft all manners of gifts for these new creatures born of Amarelia's love. Thus was our world created for us, and soon mankind began to multiply and prosper. But as they grew, with Amarelia's pure love in their hearts, mankind began to become harsh and cruel, and those who sought to protect their love became tyrants. Agridas was enraged by the sight of the downtrodden, cowering in fear of their tyrants. Their submission to injustice disturbed him so deeply that with a single strike of his staff against the core of a radiant star, a chariot burst from the ground, and upon it rode the god of courage, Verus. He pierced the heavens, descended, roaming through mankind's realms and emboldening them. As Vertus's chariot traversed the realm, mankind was plagued with yet another problem. Those who were courageous were ruthless and cruel. Even in their love for one another, they held no compassion or gentleness. Amarelia wept for the sight, and as her tears descended, they soon formed a sparkling pool. Kneeling over the water, Amarelia gazed at Paris and spoke. She begged him for a remedy to mankind's illness, and so he compelled, from the pool of her tears, Clementia, the goddess of mercy. Clementia sought out Sophie's wisdom, pleading to know what had to be done to save Amarelia's children. Sophia's blessed eye opened, and thus was her knowledge conveyed. For mankind to have mercy, they must know morality. Thus did Clementia venture into a long-forgotten realm, the dark abode of Nox, with nothing but the light in her heart gifted to her by Paris. She navigated the perilous darkness in pursuit of the slumbering god. Long abandoned and forgotten, Nox's home had been overrun with stardust and ash, remnants of other creations, and whispers of Verhana's oldest forgotten truths. At last, we found him sleeping behind thorns of darkness and neglect. With Clementia's gentle kiss to his forehead, softly whispered plea, he awakened. He listened in silence as she recounted what had taken place. She pleaded with him to come to her aid, but he had no need for persuasion. He had already fallen in love with her. This brave, gentle spirit would not only recall his presence, but went so far as to find him in his dark abode, where even Praeus' light could never reach. Guided him out, so did the gods come together in Praeus' radiant light for their final masterpiece. Verana and Sophia shared all they knew with Admios, who envisioned a wondrous kingdom. As Reparos began to build it, Ava and Trina wandered mankind's realms, easing their minds as they waited for Clementia's solution to be complete. Once the new kingdom was complete, Aquitus observed in silence before he raised his mighty staff. As it descended, a upon the kingdom. The realm was split into two. One for those deeds that sowed peace in their time. Another for those who had sown discord. Clementia thus presented the kingdom to Nox as a wondrous gift, a dominion of his own where the divine whispers of creation roam under his rule and command. Thus did Virtus and Amelia set out. Nox would guide a soul to his kingdom. Virtus would empower them and take Nox's hand. And Amelia unite them with their loved ones. With balance restored to the cosmos once again, each deity settled into their own domain, held behind a gate. When they wish to offer mankind their blessings, they call to Piraeus, who shines his radiant light upon their gates. When they wish to deny mankind their gifts, Piraeus turns away from them. Only one gate remains ever radiant, that of hope. I see my little precious star has fallen asleep. Very well, my dear. No doubt the gods would call upon their beloved child to prance around their gates of heaven. You and the miracles in the divine realm are one and the same. Now rest, my little star. Rest your weary mind. And it's just a Clementia found Nox in the darkness. I pray your light will shine over my weary heart.